What is up, comic fam? Happy New Comic Book Day. It's Tuesday. That means it's part one of the 48-hour event known as New Comic Book Day, kicking it off with DC as always. We're going to talk some DC comics, talk some news, and look at some other stuff going on. But before we do any of that, check this out. Go ahead and say thank you to the sponsor, Big Time Collectibles. Be sure to check them out at bigtimecollectibles.com. You can follow them on Instagram, Facebook. They're always dropping awesome exclusives, FOC orders, ratio variants, mystery boxes, you name it, they got it. And if you need anything clean or pressed, hit up our friend Justin Comics over on Instagram. If you use that promo code We Are Legion, you can take advantage of the special promo offer that he's always got running. So be sure to check him out. Awesome guy. Let's see. Let me do this. All right, so it's new DC Day, new books dropped. It's not as big of a week as normal. I've got I think I've got 5 books on my pool. All right, so we're going to be getting into that. And also a couple of announcements, a couple of things that dropped in the last couple of days here. Some good news, some really good news. The new Batman movie with Robert Pattinson was kind of been in limbo, what they're going to do moving forward since the big merger that just happened with Zaslav coming in, shaking everything up. But we got the news yesterday that it is getting greenlit, that they're definitely going to continue the franchise. It's going to be standing on its own, it looks like, and potentially ending with just a trilogy, which isn't that big of a deal to me. I think that that's a great format, a great formula. They did cancel all the spin-off shows like the Gotham PD and the Penguin that was coming to HBO Max, which I think was a little excessive. Don't really need all that to have a good franchise. It could just kind of get lost in the weeds if you do that. But needless to say, we are guaranteed to be getting a follow-up to the Batman that came out earlier this year, which was phenomenal. And speaking of the Caped Crusader, this is actually a really small week for me for Batman titles. I'm sure that there was more on the shelves. I think Harley Quinn dropped, and they've been doing those really awesome Harley Quinn homage covers to early Batman issues. And there was like a reprint for Batman 125 as well. But for me, the only one that had to get picked up was Detective Comics issue number something, 1063. So I'm loving the new trade dress layout, the borders on it. This is Rom V's undertaking. So this is the second issue with Rom V on the title. So we'll be diving into more of this kind of psychological mystery that's going on here. He's investigating a case, and some kind of mist or something took him over. And it's almost like he's hallucinating now. You got Albuquerque on the art, which was really cool. It really fit the tone and style of Batman. It really captured it. But I'm excited to see where this goes. The main Batman title is definitely good, especially with Chip Zdarsky on it. But Detective Comics is always more consistently good, if that makes sense. So I highly suggest people checking that one out. Say hey to the chat. What's going on, Les Crucius? How are you? Raider Nation 87 is up in here today. Nick's Kicks and Comics. What is going on? Chop and Drop. How are you? So for those that don't know the different setup, I'm over at my mom and my grandma's. My mom had a knee replacement, been hanging out with her the past week or so, helping her recover. So we're on the little mobile setup here. Definitely appreciate everyone hopping in. Next up on the list, we've got Action Comics 1046. So this is the only one I've actually been able to read so far today. It tends to go to the top of my stack when it drops. Philip Kennedy Johnson is wrapping up his War World saga. We know that the Superman one-shot Apocalypse War is coming, or War World Apocalypse. And it's supposed to be the return of Kal-El to Earth, so I'm pumped for that. And then, so the next story arc starting after this is Kal-El Returns. So seeing how it all wraps up on War World was a really, really cool. We did a really good job with it. It had this huge, like, epic vibe to it, almost like, I say it a lot, but it's kind of like a Lord of the Rings thing with how big the mythos in the world of War World is now. It was really cool. And then we got a bittersweet one up next. We have a Swamp Thing Season 2's final issue. So this will be the next one that I read as soon as I'm done with this live stream, going straight to this. It's issue 16 of 16. Ron V's Maxi series wraps up. We see where Levi Kamei is taking on the green, the fully embodying it and what that means, and taking the fight to that new avatar of industry. It was really cool those last couple of issues, seeing him powered up by Green Lantern. It was super dope. So I'm pumped to see where that goes, and I'm kind of sad. I'm definitely sad to see it end. They have announced that they're going to be doing a one-shot for the upcoming Dark Crisis stuff. So I'm assuming that this will just take us to there, and then hopefully immediately to wherever he goes after that, because a world without a Swamp Thing isn't a world worth living in. So this one's been on hiatus for a while, but we do have a one-shot to tie us over. The Human Target by Tom King, a 12-issue maxi series. We have 6 of them already out and available, and they did a mid-series break to kind of give, I guess, Smallwood time to catch up and get the art going and everything. The art in it is phenomenal, but much like the Batman Catwoman series, you get a one-shot along the way. So we get Tales of the Human Target, and it's supposed to be giving us 4 stories by the 4 artists listed on the cover there: Kevin McGuire, Mikel Janin, Raphael Albuquerque, and Greg Smallwood. So the story does involve the Justice League International in the mystery that he's trying to solve. And this is supposed to be giving us a little bit of information and backstory on some of those characters inside this universe, because this definitely takes place in its own universe. This is a Black Label title, so it's not contingent upon what's going on in the primary continuity. So it can kind of stand on its own and take some liberties and do a lot of really fun stuff because of that. And next up, this one, I'm on the fence about. Batman, The White Knight Presents Red Hood. I believe it's only supposed to be 3 issues. I was excited to get more stuff about the Red Hood, but it seems like whenever, what is his name, Sean Gordon Murphy takes a back seat and lets other creators come in and work on this universe, it just doesn't stand up, and it just feels a below par. And that's how that first one felt. I do love the fact that Simone DeMeo got to do some art in here, but I only expect and want to see Sean Gordon Murphy's artwork inside these books. The Harley Quinn one that they did was terrible. It was terrible. Like, he helped script it, but Katana Collins, his wife, actually wrote it. And this one seems to be the same way, with Clay McCormick writing it. And it just doesn't have that same vibe. It doesn't have, you can just feel that it's different, not just with the art, but with the writing. But we're getting more details on Jason Todd from the time of the infamous Joker attack and how it took place in this universe, which is definitely different than the primary, and it fills in some of the void to get him up to speed, and how he has a new sidekick. He has his own ward, and where and how he came up with such said ward. So that's pretty much all that was on the get list for me this week. Now, awesome news about Batman coming out, and it's really just a small week overall for me. Definitely had a lot of other stuff going on. I appreciate everybody for the kind words on the Instagram post, as well as over on the Facebook post. And we're going to keep it short and simple today. Got a lot to do. So I appreciate everybody. I hope you all have a good day. And until next time, we are Legion.